Good morning. Good morning. What's up, beautiful soul family? How you doing? How y'all doing this morning? Welcome to the radio station. You are listening to the sounds of Report Radio. I am still getting dressed. But how y'all doing this morning? Remember, the chat box is open. I have a very special guest this morning. So we're going to do the whole hour with the guest. Thank you for joining. I'm going to make my tea. Get myself together. Enjoy the sounds of Report Radio. We can play.
When I get to you, I wanna show you a wrong kind of right, out of control, feeling what I can't find. Baby, I can't forget the way that you fell on my lips. And I know that baby, you're feeling it too. When I get to you, I wanna kill you tonight, but I'd rather give you a lifetime. Soon enough, can't be soon enough. Love, I love the way, love how it feels when we touch. Yeah, I love when you get here and you breathing, it turns me on. So don't be shy, darling, don't be shy. When I get to you, when I get to you, when we embrace, my hands on your face, baby. Every minute I'm spending with you, I don't want to waste. I could lose my breath, I could bleed to death. I don't know what's next, but when I get you next to me, it's all me. Soon enough, can't be soon enough. Love, I love the way, love how it feels when we touch. Yeah, when you get here and you breathing, it turns me on. So don't be shy, darling, don't be shy. When I get to you, when I get to you, sensational vibes, releasing this time, exceptional, natural high. I don't wanna come down, baby, just let me fall. we can't be alone. Love, I love the way, love how it feels when we. Don't say you haven't noticed. Now both have been my oldest. I know that I'm your focus. Let's keep it real 100. Don't tell me you ain't noticed. You lurking while you stunting. My story says you schooling. I know you know I know. What you gonna do now? Since I found out. Saying nothing now, checking on me now. Let me break it down. Off and on, don't you stay around. No, don't got me saying wow. Tell me no, I gotta go, needing better. So elusive, you is whatever. Don't say you haven't noticed. Now both have been my oldest. I know that I'm your focus. Let's keep it real 100. Don't tell me you ain't noticed. You lurking while you stunting. My story says you schooling. I know you know I know. Yeah, I know you know, but we both try to keep it on the low. Don't know what for, cause we both so compatible. Yeah, wanna give it to you in the worst way. Wanna see you on the worst day. These are the bitches thirsty, and I got the Fiji. You know what it is, I know what it is, and I'm all about my business. So you better come and dot your eyes and gossip tease. I know that I sometimes a tease, but it's fine when I'm on your IG. Dropping all them smiling sideways emojis.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Gratty Tuesday. What are you grateful for today?
I know that I'm your focus. Let's keep it real 100. Don't tell me you ain't noticed. You lurking while you stunting. My story says you.
Happy Gratty Tuesday.
I know you know I know. Don't say you haven't noticed. Now both have been my oldest. I know that I'm your focus. Let's keep it real 100. Don't tell me you ain't noticed. You lurking while you stunting. My story says you schooling. I know you know I know.
Put the phone up here.
I can't remember where we all went wrong.
So I
You told me that love was feeling so strong.
can turn off notifications during the interview.
Too long. You say you miss me, you're the reason that I'm gone. I'm gone. I played the phone for too long.
So how was everybody's Monday? How was the Monday yesterday? How was the rest of your day after you got off of here? Good morning. How you doing? You're a little bit early. It's okay though.
Well, I mean,
Huh?
when I get up early, I was going to go to work early this morning, but I told him I had to do this interview.
Yeah.
But in this case, yes.
So you just got up. I'm doing great. It's Tuesday. It's Gratty Tuesday. What are you grateful for today?
To be alive.
To be alive, yes. I say the same thing. Breath in my body, life in my lungs. I'm alive another day.
Yeah, well, to have some sanity.
You said to have your sanity.
Have some sanity, yeah.
To have some sanity.
Coming off of a friend that committed suicide a couple of days ago,
What? Did you say you?
Or somebody I knew committed suicide.
What? Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Was he a part of your organization? Like, was he a man that you mentored and stuff?
He was being mentored by somebody I'm affiliated with, but it's with the Greensboro Street Ballers Association. So yeah, in a sense, yes, because I rock with them too and do things with them.
Right.
And, he's a member of the Street Ballers organization of Greensboro.
Right. All right, before we get started, I want to introduce everyone. The voice you hear on the other end is Harrison Spencer. He is the founder and creator of Father Figures. And Harrison, tell us a little bit more about what Father Figures is.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to start off by saying, well, Father Figures is kind of self-explanatory. It's a very familiar term that's been used when explaining someone that may not have been your father, but was influential in your life, had an impact in your life. So that's pretty much, I think it's self-explanatory, but does it have to be expressed and conveyed or perceived in some way? And yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
The Father Figures goes beyond, again, just the biological father. It goes to the fathers that have passed the torch, done it before, passed the torch, and been proud enough to stand up and be involved in someone's life.
Right. That's good. So, why did you choose Father Figures? Why is that organization that name? And why did you choose to do this?
I started with, honestly, my father, who people ask who was your role model. We tend to say celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to say my father. I want to say a celebrity is somebody I knew personally, close hand, did something for me. May not have been like I seen him on TV, and that's my celebrity or something like that. I'm talking about somebody firsthand.
Right.
So he had a big start with it because I was around a lot of friends who grew up who they were raised by like their grandmothers. Their fathers wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I say honestly, out of about 20 black men, it was only me and my brothers that experienced a 2-parent home. Now imagine that out of about 20 men.
Wow.
And all those other men looked up to my father, and they are fathers today. Most of them are fathers today, and they reference my dad as someone who influenced them to be a better father. So that has a big impact, and it shows. And families are important.
Yes.
It's a very important thing. Fathers are important. Mothers are important. We just know at the end of the day, families is a core, key institution in society.
Right.
So that's kind of what led me to it as well. But honestly, by 2018, I did get to a point where I got tired of hearing fathers talking about deficit and punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Living in a deficit world where they feel like social services and stuff, they don't get enough support from them.
Right.
And then directly dealing with their mothers who are trying to co-parent in today's co-parenting world,
mm-hmm.
having difficulties navigating in that fashion. It just got to a point where I wanted to stand up and participate in changing that.
Right.
And if you look into the mission of Father Figures, you look into the purpose, that's the big goal is social change. How do we create change? How do we make this co-parenting better? How do we get DSS to understand that fathers are important more than what they show was, or what I'm hearing from other fathers? And, it's really gotten to a point where I think that's just needed. In today's environment, by 2020, a lot has changed in the family dynamics, especially. A lot has changed in society as far as what a family looks like. How does a family function? What do they do together to be successful?
Right.
But then together is the key word, because a lot of parents today are not living together. There's a lot of non-residential co-parenting environments going on that even social service may not recognize as well.
Right. And so, we have had this discussion before. We both have been in that situation where We are having to be co-parents, with our children's, whether it be mother or father. And so what I find difficult is that sometimes the other party feels that they need to be a part of the home in order to be, active. Do you agree with that? Or how do you feel about that?
Could you be more specific when you say the other party needs to be more part of the home?
Well, yeah. So like they feel like they should be, sometimes they feel like they should have, I guess, constant access. So what are your thoughts on that?
We looking at from I'm the father, I stay in one residence. She's the mother, she stays in another residence. I'm supposed to have all access as far as entry and all those. I think, I don't. I've never imagined it that far in my co-parenting experience, but should, for instance, I know where my child resides, the health status of my child, the educational status of my child when it gets to that level, those certain things, yes, but total access,
right?
Excuse me. I think it might be a little overbearing, but let's be honest, it's going to be a dynamic of power control when we're talking about the non-residential factor and how to navigate. We talked about that before too. That's one of the biggest things that I look into it as far as that factor is the power control. And you have to be careful with that. As a father, I would say I never really imagined that I'm just going to walk up, if we're going to talk about it literally, walk into my child's mother's house at 12:30 in the morning, basically at night, saying my child, it's for the sake of my child. Nah, there's nothing going on. There's no harm, no neglect.
Right.
If that's what you're speaking of.
Yeah, I mean, it's, basically like, why can't we, come up with some kind of agreement to where, it's like shared time,
Okay. Yes.
Like I don't need access to, yes, absolutely. Disclose, where I'm living, making sure that, the child is taken care of, all of that stuff that you said. But, in order to be a father figure or even a mother figure, like speaking on that end, because I'm the mother figure, but, to be an active father figure, you gotta be there, whether you're the father or not, but especially the father, and so like, what about the women who actually do want, the fathers to play a role, and the father doesn't want to do that because he feels that he should be a part of the home still, or, whatever the case may be.
Well, that's what to me that comes to the home part is probably just more of a culture clash. Thinking that, they, and the way I look at it, especially as a man, I'm a man, I can run, move things, and kind of thinking I'm the head of the household, even though I'm not in the household. Again, I never really thought that way. That's just, to me, that just ties in, and maybe it's not about the child. If a father's coming off like that, in my opinion, it's not about the child. It's about something else.
Right. Right. And it needs to be more about the child it needs to be
more about the child.
Right.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. I was just going to say. Go ahead.
Actually, I'm speaking passionately about that because as much criticism I have about mothers, that we're going to get in detail, some detail too. I'm going to have some criticism of fathers too.
Right. And me as well. Like I have criticism, of mothers too, having been that type of woman and been in that situation, especially, when you don't take the time to heal your heart, from the wounds of your inner wounded child, you project that out onto the people you love, and, men have emotions. They have that feminine energy in them. And, I have been that woman who has shut down, a man because of his emotions, so, just trying to be, a better and healthier version of myself going forward, but, I really and truly do believe that, because we have been through so much, especially in the Black community, that's a whole different dynamic in itself because, a lot of people in the Black community don't believe in therapy, like you kind of deal with that shit at home. But here's the thing, if you don't have somebody at home that you can truly talk to and be open with, then who do you go to? Who do you talk to? Where's that outlet?
Right. And honestly, that makes me think of how co-parenting needs to be, that could be part of the therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It should be encouraged a lot more. I'm talking about going to the classes, if that makes sense.
Right, absolutely.
Start to open up. The start of parenting, for instance, parenting on the 2 rules process.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that we kind of missed the bus. I'm talking about fathers and mothers.
Right.
Even if fathers got something to complain about, we probably more than likely haven't been to those co-parenting courses. Mm-hmm. And even me having to go through that process sometime soon, even though I got children at 23 and 24, I'm willing to go through that process because that doesn't mean because I have older children don't mean I know it all.
Right.
But I think I'm doubling up, like you say, the therapeutic part.
Mm-hmm.
It could have an issue with, someone having an issue inside that can lead to that bad process of trying to parent.
Yes, absolutely.
I definitely agree with that. You can bring things from the background that kind of makes a difference. And I give you my opinion, an honest pattern, mm-hmm. where I grew up in a 2-parent home. And I would say that my youngest son, she didn't grow up in a 2-parent home as consistent as I did. So, you might not have that lens, and you might not know about the negotiation skills, the certain skills that come with it to work it out.
Right.
And I don't mean I made it work all the way, but I know at least in that part, I've seen 2 parents consistently work together, even had big disagreements.
Right.
They still work together.
Right.
And if that lens is there, then you double it up with having, like you say, issues going back, mm-hmm. even back to childhood.
Right.
Then that can be real. Because not to reveal too much, but I know for sure that my youngest grandmother, she's definitely revealed that she had issues going back to childhood. Mm-hmm. Her family member, one of her family members said that they actually went to therapy, but they got rejected. She rejected it. Mm. So it can happen just like that. So the therapy part has got to be involved in it. There's got to be some therapy involved in it because it's a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of disagreements, a lot of arguments. Right. It's a lot of power control the power control ice cream that I talked to you about. That's being taken of a lot. Mm-hmm. So that is a prime intervention. Right. And co-parenting is a big, just one of the ways to open that up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I think like after the breakup, a lot of those emotions from the past, a lot of those feelings from the past end up surfacing, after the breakup, because, if you experience like, rejection or abandonment or, feeling like you weren't good enough, then that kind of adds to, what you already had going on. And so there's still like a lot of resentment there. And it's not necessarily toward the other party as much as it is about the things that we haven't healed within our inner child. Because, when you heal the inner child, you realize, what, sometimes people are not going to be in our lives forever, and I truly love my child. So let me work this out the best possible way that I can, with the other parent, because when we're still holding on to stuff, the child actually, it actually comes out on the child, not on the other parent.
Right. And you make me think, it's like, I would use the term to say, when someone is being childish. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Especially you talk about the inner child in you, and not dealing with those issues, and then they come out and come up.
Right.
So we talk about being childish because of a child, and child problems
Right.
that dwell around it. But you made me also think of something that you were just discussing. Oh, the elephant in the room too. Also, is the new boo.
What is that?
When you have that resentment, like you were talking about, you had those things, you had those memories.
Oh, you said the new. You said the new boo.
You see, yeah, you see that with the new boo.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not talking about just. I'm talking about just like mother seeing the father with someone. I'm talking about across the board because that is a big thing that's going on. Where there's boom, family, blended family.
Right.
Break up. The father gets to somebody else. The mother gets to somebody else, and that's usually a stressor or source of tension and problems.
Right.
Why the co-parenting factor.
Right.
The co-parenting process is not going his way.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I just wanted to add it in too. You definitely had some good points, but that one right there is another one too.
That is.
And both mothers, I've at least seen or known of mothers and fathers that trip because of that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've seen more mothers trip because of that than I've seen fathers do it. But I know that I've heard fathers are doing certain things. You know that?
Right.
They're not coming by. They're saying wicked things to their mother. They're upset because she got a new dude.
Right.
That's another part of it too. But that goes back to anything, like you said, you even go back to childhood. Say, well, let's swing for the fence with this one at the end of the day.
Right. Well, and too, a lot of times they're not even
childish as we want. We can be all these things. Or as they say in our feelings, but where is that accomplishing the goal?
Right.
Being a successful father.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then on the other end, where is that accomplishing the goal of being a successful mother? This one story runs in my head. I do this one little thing run in my head before this interview happened. A mother and father get into it. It's something I've seen, experienced. They get into it. The mother blocks the father's number. I had to pause on that for a moment. It's just typically a head scratching.
Right.
You're going to block my number. You're already cutting off access.
Right. Right.
You're thinking about moving somewhere. You're not even going to tell me that. I don't trust this child. I'm not harm for this child. We might have disagreed about I didn't make the doctor's appointment that you wanted me to make at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Because I had to work.
Right.
I honestly have had some big disagreements with my children's mother, but I've never blocked their phone.
Right.
Even my oldest child's mother. We don't talk like that. I mean, our children are grown now, but the number is not blocked.
Right.
These are the things that are going on that we have to really look into and really think about.
Right.
Really, really think about. Like when I was giving my father's right speech, leaving out of A&T, and I said that was being in the social work department, that was primarily female. And I said, honestly, based on stats, there's about 30 students in there, 28 women more than likely, and maybe I'm the only male. And I said, the percentage-wise, about half of y'all gonna be single mothers. What are you gonna do when that happens?
Right.
I'm not saying I want you to be a single mother or anything like that, but it's a good change.
Right.
What are you going and especially if one of them had mentioned that the mother has more rights when they carry the child than the father. That's why we should have more rights and feel that we should be more territorial in all these things.
Right.
Well, are you gonna punish a male because that's the way that it was ordained? I mean, if we can carry the child, I'm quite sure some of us fathers, if we can carry the child, we just carry it too.
Right. Right.
We don't have to hit it today.
Right. So you think that the laws are more in favor of mothers than they are of fathers?
I think there's a tilt.
You think so?
There's a tilt to it. I think a lot of fathers know, and some mothers know already, but a lot of fathers feel that, the expenses that come with trying to get custody or some type of respective custody for your child is ridiculous. It's profit driven. It's not looking too well. But I will also say too, though, that men and fathers have had abusive laws and the law in their favor in the past, correct?
What do you mean by that?
Men, in order for women to have something, they had to marry into me.
Oh, right.
You couldn't hold things down. You couldn't have certain things. Women were forced to pretty much get married and deal with men having the upper hand.
Right.
So the laws eventually tilted, especially with the Violence Against Women Act, and I understand it. Like, I respect those things and understand it and treasure those things. But I think what happened is it started tilting in another way. It got a little too out there.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's true, because a lot of women do take advantage of that. You know, a lot of them are not really truthful when it comes to those situations sometimes, you know, but then too.
Go
ahead.
Or they use the law, you know. Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they use it, you know, not always in a good way, you know. It should be used when it is, you know, actually legit, you know.
Absolutely. No father should again have. I mean, if you're talking about two parents, parenting under two rules, I'm just again. It's hard for me to imagine because I didn't think that way. But again, some people want to think that way. That I just can have all the access to you, all these things, just because we had a child together. That's not fair.
Right.
And fairness. I think what you're getting ready to speak of is fairness, being fair.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because I mean, you know, and I can only speak when I speak of my situation, you know, like when it was over, like there was never any intention of trying to keep, you know, him from his daughter. But when there's abuse involved, I'm going to do that. I'm going to protect. I'm going to be that mother bear for my daughter, because she doesn't have she has her own voice, but she also is a child. And every child needs an advocate when an abusive situation is occurring, you know? And so I got my daughter out of that situation. And so when I left, Aaliyah had her own phone, because yes, I did block him from calling my phone, because we have a court. We use Talking Parents for emails, because you can print that out and take that directly to court or give to your lawyer. And because of the things that I experienced in our relationship with like mental and emotional abuse, you know, which is covert abuse, which is not even recognized a lot in the court systems, because if you don't have any kind of scars on your body, you know, or he's not physically threatening you, then you're not being abused. But mental and emotional abuse is actually a lot worse, because it continues to go with you throughout your life. And so, you know, I was healing, I was like, you know what, I need everything in print, because you will twist words, and I need stuff in print. But as far as keeping him from his daughter or talking to his daughter, she had her own phone. So no, you don't need to text me, call me, because like he would send these emails asking me to come back home and all this other crazy stuff. And I was done. Like, only thing that I want you to do is to go and get some kind of therapy so that you can be a healthier father, you know, a healthier version of yourself for your daughter, you know, not for me, not for anybody else, but for yourself and for your daughter, because your daughter needs to have that experience of what it's like to be loved by a man. And if you're not going to actively participate in that, and you're going to continue to try to play games with her mind, you know, as you have done every other woman, then you don't need to be around her, because that's more detrimental to her than it is healthy for her. But because
go ahead.
But because I am obligated, because I was married to him, and because we have a child together, and I am obligated by the courts, this is what I have to deal with, because he constantly canceled, and we have a custody agreement. And, you know, I can get my lawyer involved and do a contempt. And I guess, you know, I don't want to say I'm being nice, but to be honest, I don't want to see another Black man in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are dealing with enough in the Black community. And the whole purpose of what I do and what you do and what so many of us do is we are trying to build our people. We're trying to build our communities. But in the same sense, I have to protect my daughter and hold him accountable.
And that's the key part. And I like the dynamic you explained, and even with father figures, for instance. And I thought about this. Not everything's going to look good in that process. And it sounds like to me, you implementing what I had to learn, keep it brief, keep it short style, right?
Right.
When you're interacting with the co-parent.
Right. I'm cordial. Right.
And you just gave various reasons. Keep it brief, keep it short. And it even goes back when I mentioned the blocking part. And I just wanted to highlight, I'm like, again, we just had a disagreement in a certain way. Something that could be overlooked. In this case, you're talking about abusive things and things that are true dynamics in that co-parenting process, especially. And it's not always going to look good. It's not going to be, everybody's laughing, all the new families and members, everybody, you see what I'm saying? Like, I actually seen that happen recently, though, and it brought tears in my eyes. We have a friend who moved on with someone else. Were married to someone. They broke apart, but they came together at a funeral, and all the family was around. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a good thing. But it's not always going to look like that to make things work. What you're explaining is not going to make it like that. I had to keep it brief, keep it short with my youngest child's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it brief, keep it short. We exchange, we go on from there.
Right.
He's even to the point when he's 9 years old, and he had a simple for a while. We would chat a little bit. That's been cut off.
Right.
And she understands that I really don't need to talk to you like this. As long as we can talk about his grades and keep it brief, keep it short, then I can just continue to talk to him and call him and love on him and go on from there.
Right.
But I don't mind having consistent meetings with her. Hey, can we meet up? Can we sit down and have a talk? Can we have a phone call? We can talk for 30 minutes. We can brief for a little while. Keep it brief, keep it short, and go on from there for various reasons.
Right.
And sometimes we protect the fact that you talk about protecting yourself, protecting your sanity.
Right.
And it does matter. But the biggest thing is, even with father figures, I want to announce that process is not going to look good.
Right.
But that also is choices. That powerful C word within there. Who's making the choices to either keep the gate open, keep the gate closed, or maintain it, or even going as far as what you're doing, keeping the gentleman out of jail. And actually being the question you were going to ask me, how can they be supportive? Mm-hmm. You just gave an example. And then there's the being nice factor. And we struggle with that. Am I being nice, or should I do what I need to do? Honestly, if you're going to ask me as the father figure representative, the being nice can get exhausting. And sometimes you have to make a choice.
Right. Right.
However, you can make a choice that keeps things in place. I understand that too. That's what it sounds like. You might, be to keep the father somehow possibly involved.
Right.
But granted, if he really screws up, we should, we as fathers, again, you gotta earn some of that sometimes. You gotta earn that in some ways. And if you burning bridges, that was on you.
Right.
And let's say we're sitting here as a crew hanging, you're complaining about the mother and why she won't let you sit. But when I'm near you, you talking junk to her, you talking to her like you own her.
Right.
You talking to her like that's an issue.
Right.
This is why you're not seeing little Kenny.
Right. Right. Or
and honestly, we can bring that up. That wolf in sheep's clothing that you have amongst crews, and we talk about female members and mothers together, fathers together, and you're gonna try to make up a story to me on why this child is not seeing this person. And I'm honestly saying, I know some mothers are doing it.
Absolutely.
They're making up stories. Mm-hmm. When homegirls are asking like why he ain't around, or maybe they don't even ask.
Right.
They just think I'm a friend. I'm gonna just side with her and just let it be. They're gonna have to handle that. But you making up stories of why, this and that, not answering the phone calls when the father calls and all this stuff, that's gotta chill out.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's the face of father figures is part of the mission that says progressive environment. You're trying to create a progressive environment. You're not trying to go backwards and be involved in the cycle of abuse and things like that. And that's where father figures really want to get involved, where we're in progressive environment.
Right. 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 We all want to progress. We all want to see, the family dynamic become stronger, because we definitely need, there's things that a mother brings to the table that a father doesn't. And there's things that a father brings to the table that a mother doesn't. But again,
that a mother doesn't.
Right. But again, you know, and
I just want to go with you.
Yeah, that's fine. But again, too, you know, it's not only about, I mean, the best way for us to be the healthiest and the greatest version of ourselves, for ourselves and for our families, is to work on the wounds of our past, you know, and two, a lot of that stuff that comes up is ancestral stuff. You know, the pains of our ancestors and what they had to go through in slavery. And so they just passed that stuff down from generation to generation. And it's on us, you know, it's our responsibility as adults and as parents to heal that mess for our children so that we can be, you know, a unit. And it's not even just families in general, it's in our community, in the Black community. We are so against each other, you know, men against men, women against women, men against women, women against men. Like, we have to come together if we are going to fix the dynamic of the family. That there is no other way around it. We have been pitted against each other since the beginning of time. We're hating each other. We're killing our own brothers and sisters. You know, so how can a mother's touch and how can father figures help to change that? Help to encourage other men to be father figures. Help to encourage other women to be healthier women for our father figures.
I'm glad you asked that. You know, I'm going to have to spend this with you too. kind of being in a space that we've been in, where we're working together. And what I like the most is that our honesty and transparency in our working relationship, as far as a father trying to be an influential and a mother being influential, but willing to be a little more transparent and hold each other's crew or side of it. We want to look at it that way, accountable.
Right.
And we were talking earlier about, and I highlight, you know, and that goes back to the healing part. That healing, power and control, and that healing part. Because in my opinion, if you're talking about healing, you're talking about stepping out of that power and control zone, or some of the issues that you may not realize you have,
right,
that are showing out in your parent, and in this case, in your parenting arena.
Right.
And it's about us working together. In some way, and that's why when I mentioned father figures having female members or having female involvement, a lot of fathers like, no, make this just us. And I'm like, man, it's hard for me to swallow that one because I really want to paint the picture that we can work together.
Right, we can.
I really want females involved. I don't feel it's fair for me to say that we can't be successful if we can't work together in co-parenting, but I'm not going to work with mothers or try to have a lane or something involved in that way with my father figures program. It doesn't click with me. And then I can't look my mother in the eye and think it's like looking my mother in the eye and cutting her out of it.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true.
And you just have to, I think it's just giving examples. We got to start by putting more images out there that we can't work together. I think what happens is we see more of the fight, and the baby mama drama, the baby daddy drama. We see a lot more of that than we see actual images, hearing stories of people working together. I give one example. I know one mother that said, you know what, I had some issues with my father, but we are to the point now where we do 50-50. He gets some weekly, like they share in, I got a constant weekly rotation.
Right.
They share the tax credit. They share all that financial stuff and all that stuff. So one year he gets the tax credit, another year she gets.
Right. Right.
How often do you see that? Right. I'm not saying everybody's got to play it that way, but when we talk about the dirty stuff that goes on between fathers and mothers battling about things, financial resources and all that stuff, how often do you see that?
Right. More times often than not. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing when You can say, okay.
It's scary to some people.
No, yeah, it is, because more people focus on the money aspect than they do about the benefits of the child, And again, I can only go on
the memory.
Or what?
They want to snatch the memory too. Memory.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because
the memories.
Yeah, because they feel like they're the mother, and because they know that the law is on their side. They again, like you were saying before, power and control. It's another way to control him. But and I wish, I don't want to say I wish, but and again, I'm not perfect, but I'm glad I am who I am, because I care more about my daughter and about her benefit. Like I told my ex, like I did at once receive, I think I received child support for 1 year, like court ordered child support for 1 year. But that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is you keeping up with the structure that we have, because that's beneficial to her mental health. She doesn't need to be told, she doesn't need to know that we have this structure where you pick her up every other week, and then, once a month or twice a month, well, actually once a month, you're calling talking about why you can't make your weekend. That's not beneficial to her mental health. And I would love to be able to share custody, but if you're not going to adhere to your schedule, then why should I do that? Why should I do that? Why should I even give you, why not go to court and say, and have my lawyer modify that agreement and say, no, he's only doing once a month. Let's give him once a month. He's not showing up for his holidays. Let's take those holidays. But again,
that's lessons.
Is it lessons? Is it? Is lessons? I mean, because it is for the benefit of my child.
Those lessons, the lessons of. I mean, just honestly, I'm gonna agree to pick up my child, but then I'm just deliberately not going to pick him up. And my personal experience is that that's why I haven't seen my son in a few years, because that's the excuse that was used. That the one time I canceled on him, the one time I actually had to say I couldn't do it, that was what was used to say he canceled out on you. He doesn't want to see you. And it was probably crushing because he's not used to it. And that's what you're talking about with your daughter. You don't want her to be crushed. Father, we can, this is why father figures is needed if it comes to things like that.
Right.
We've got to do better.
Right.
We're crushing our children's hearts because of certain things that we want to do and how we're rolling and whatever it is we want to do, or whatever we're choosing to do besides seeing our child on the weekend. You made me think of this. I know that fathers put up arguments that, I'm pretty upset that I only get to see my child twice a month or a week, every other weekend.
Right.
For a while, I'm going to eat that and be grateful that I can get in that time.
Yes, and that's my thing. Like, the whole time complaining.
I'm going to at least try to eat that, especially with you already got a court agreement in place.
Right.
So fathers don't even have that in place.
Right. Like, they don't have, and this is my thing, and I don't ever want to say, because I know a lot of men, when they feel frustrated or, sharing their emotions, a lot of people say, you just complaining or whatever. And, like, I never want to be that mother, that keeps her child from her father. I've never wanted to be that type of mother, even if it doesn't work out with us. Like, I still want you to be a part of her life because of the simple fact that you are her father. But I also need for you to be in that, in that unselfish space when it comes to your daughter, because before you were complaining about you or telling other people, that I'm trying to keep her away from you, when I was just trying to get something in place because I know the dynamic and it's happening even on paper. And I'm not that one after the first time. I'm actually building up a pattern, because if I'm going to court, I'm going to show, and with my lawyer, I'm going to show that this is a pattern. It's not just a one-time deal. Like, this happens all too frequently, and so I guess that's kind of my battle is, is that even beneficial to my daughter? Or should I have just gone, after the first incident?
I would think, I'm going to keep from an emotional level on this one, because I'm kind of feeling, I know a lot of mothers, more than likely mothers are listening, that are going through this. You're being very supportive. You're trying to navigate in a space where things work, but we're as fathers are not looking at that too well. That's not fair. And I mean, I can clearly see that happen. Fortunately, I'm around men that we don't play like that within our children's lives.
Right.
On our forefront, and we hold each other accountable about that quicker than anything else. And mothers, you got the being nice part again. I don't want to see y'all beat up for that.
Right.
I know you're trying, but sometimes we have to learn some lessons. If it comes from instance of modification, at least he still got a jump shot. At least he still got a chance. At least he's still in the game.
Right.
But I would definitely say, as much as I stand up for fathers, we have to. The accountability still does matter.
Right. And same thing.
The father want to continue to burn bridges again. The lessons got to be had, and you have to modify or change things up. And other people might look at you funny, but you're doing it in the best interest, and do it in the best interest of you.
Right. Well, actually, it's the best interest of the child. Right.
We're coming into the angle, but I'm quite sure it's quite a few mothers dealing with some things like that. Because man, we can get nasty. We can. Right. Yeah. Probably can get nasty too. And I think I've dated at least one or two women that's been in that situation with their, in this environment now where you're more than likely, if you're, dating, you're probably going to have a blended family dynamic.
Right.
Mm-hmm. She has one child, you have two, Right. He has two, you have one outside of y'all.
Right.
But we do. We father figures. That's one way to grow into a father figure. We learn our lessons. Some of them just running rampant, being fathers, being malicious and manipulative and things like that. And we have to put the torch to it.
Right.
Put the torch to their feet, make you understand and think twice about it. Right. And honestly, some of us probably are not going to change the way we go about the stuff we're doing to tear down the co-parenting part, even in the Black community. But you got to put your best foot forward. Right.
Yeah. And yeah, so and I just want to, encourage, mothers, just put all that other stuff aside, you know what I'm saying? And think about your child first, because they do, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Yes, I have that masculine energy, but I use my masculine energy to pursue my goals. You know what I'm saying? There's things that, as a woman, I can't teach. I can't teach my daughter the love of a man, how a man should treat her. And, I can only explain to her, and be an example and say, look, mommy is choosing to stay by herself until somebody can step up to the plate. You know what I'm saying? And be, that loving.
Be a father.
Right. Because it's not just about me. It's about her too. We got at least another 6 years before she graduates. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm comfortable now in my singleness. So it's if somebody come in my life and we, building a friendship or whatever, and it doesn't work out, then look, know that, that dynamic didn't work because mommy knows what she wants. Mommy knows exactly what she wants this time around, and mommy's not willing to settle. But in the same token, she needs to have that love herself of that father figure. So that when she grows up, she knows the difference between, a healthy love and a, manipulative, controlling love,
Right.
So that's just my goal, but I know there's things that I can't, and I just want to speak to the women. There's things that you can't provide, especially if you got boys, there's things that you cannot give your child that a man can give. So regardless of what you're going through.
Is that an odd to when mothers say I got to be the mother and the father?
Well, and you know what? I think a lot of mothers are actually just looking at it from the financial point, if you want to be honest. I mean, because so many women, that's their game. You can't you can't do this. But my philosophy is fuck the money, the time. Kids don't care nothing about, yes, do they want things? Absolutely. When you give them things, sure, yay, great. But I guarantee you, kids want time. Time is what matters to them. If they get an extra pair of shoes on top of that time, yay. Yay, kudos. But a lot of women look at it from, oh, well, he ain't bought shit, so I ain't gonna let him see her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna let him see him. No, that baby needs time with the father. Time. And see, and that's what I stress with my ex. And that's why I say, I don't give a fuck about child support. I don't give a fuck about his money. I make my own. I do my own thing. My daughter is well taken care of. My daughter needs time with her father. She don't care nothing about the stuff that you can buy her. Talk to her. Get to know her. She wants time. She enjoys time with you the same way that she enjoys time with me. That's why I stay home and work, because she likes time. When I buy her stuff, yay, she's happy too. But time is what's important to her. When we're doing things together, when we're going places together, that's what my daughter loves. And that's what most kids love. But because we as a Black community have been led to believe that we should try to accumulate all this material stuff that doesn't fulfill us, and we're wondering why we're constantly out here feeling unfulfilled, it's because we're not getting that quality time. I guarantee you, if we took that love language challenge, most of us, quality time is one of our top 2. You need time with your significant other, with your wife, with your children, with yourself. You need time. That's how you heal. That's how you. Go ahead.
I want to give you, like, if you had one of the noises, you feel like a clap in the crowd, everybody cheering in the stands. I think honestly that if you ask about support, express that to others, like, and y'all mothers out there listening, hold each other accountable about something like that, and really. And I thank you for the transparency. You said, you know what, we're talking about the finances when it comes to being a mother, the father. And that's why I also mentioned when I talk about how things have changed and this breadwinner thing and the man being the provider. And I said, well, that's kind of going out the window. I said, why do you think single mothers are complaining to us? Because they're doing those things that they figure men are supposed to do. We're not doing it. Now they're the provider. Right. There are certain things. They're doing certain things they figure we're supposed to do. Right. But honestly, open up that can of worms, I think that's kind of what hurts them too. Even in co-parenting or parenting fashion in a relationship fashion.
Yes.
My opinion, get in where you fit in.
Yes.
Whoever provides, whoever protects, whoever does whatever needs to be done to make sure this child is good and safe and being productive. Who knows? Because a father could be good at the homework.
Right.
The mother could be good at all the other things with certain things. It just depends.
Yes, absolutely. We got to use our gifts.
We holding on to finances, the financial part like we're talking about, and even as deep as keeping the child away because his child support is a little late, certain things like that. Even though it's noted in child support papers that there's no reason for any parent to keep the other parent away because of child support. That's by law.
Right. Yeah.
You know, those things need to be considered, but you're absolutely correct. The getting at each other. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that if we even talk about the Black community, is because I think some of us haven't decided to really open up a little bit more.
Right.
And stick to the old guns as much as we used to.
Yeah.
Things have said, this is not 1950.
Yeah.
This is not 1980.
Right.
This is 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
And so much has changed.
Yeah.
And I would actually say I'm begging mothers that some of the things you just spoke of, not that every mother has to think like Susie, but there is something has to be compromised.
Right.
Something you got to take that dart. You know, you throw the dart on it. Dart, it's got to connect with that dartboard, and it's not connecting. It's hitting the wall.
Right. Yeah. Well, and again, and I'm going, as a mother's touch, because that's what we focus on, is healing the wounds of the inner child. And I know from personal experience, when you are, because we have, society has told us that men are only supposed to be the protector and the provider. Well, this is a team. This is a team dynamic. And, it's, and that's the same thing like in a relationship, yes, we both come to the plate. We both step up to the plate doing 100%. But there are going to be some days when you give 80 and I give 20. And then some days when I give 80 or you give 80 and I give 20. It fluctuates back and forth. So, we cannot make it, because listen, ladies, and I want to say this, and I'm directing this to the mothers. If your father is giving that child time, but he is struggling financially, then stop complaining. Stop complaining about that shit, because the money does not matter. And when the man is able to do for his children, I know he's going to do for his children. But if your only focus is because you had to buy another pair of tennis shoes, but that child is over that father's house every weekend, or at least 14 days or 2 weeks in the summer, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, because he's giving time. And that's what them babies need. They need time. They don't need the finances. Finances will come. Them babies need time with their daddy.
I once heard, and a professor told me this, or somebody mentioned this, they said that real money needs to be dropped when college hits and when they get older.
Right. Right.
And they get a little older, and I can attest to that. They get older, they get more involved in sport. Like,
yes.
Talking about like teenage years on up.
Right.
Teenage years on up. Not saying things don't cost before that. We know children cost, but we know the dividing line between the two. And I've seen that dynamic between my youngest son's mother and my oldest son's mother. My oldest son's mother seriously made the choice. She was with the son that we shared together, who wasn't my biological, even though the father was behind in child support, she still made an effort and even called and got on, hey, you want to spend time with your son? She opened up the door.
Right.
Now, my youngest son's mother, I don't even get those calls from her. If she even thinks about MIA, she doesn't even bother to make those calls. She doesn't bother to say, hey, you're going to see, if I was in that tone, even if I'm late on child support, but you can clearly see the choice between the two. It's like night and day.
Right.
There are choices being made out there. There are some mothers making choices that keeps the guy's child that fulfillment. There are fathers out there that are doing the same thing that deny the child the fulfillment. And of course, it's got to be addressed. It's got to be spoken of more. It really does. That's the biggest thing as far as father figures I can ask of, to speak of it more and try to act on it more and really look at yourself in the mirror.
Right. Right. Absolutely. We got to take accountability for each side. And I think a lot of us really focus on the wrong thing. We focus on, and I'm going to say, because it is a majority of, and some fathers think like this too. Well, I don't have no money, so I don't want to spend time, or I don't want them this weekend or whatever. But you need to understand that
I'm so glad you brought that up.
It really is time, and
That's a great example.
We cannot focus on the financial aspect. Now, don't get me wrong. I realize that, yes, because I think a lot of men feel like they need all this massive amount of money, when it comes to being a father, because again, society said, oh, you're supposed to be the protector and the provider. Well, no, if you have a mother who is actually, stepping up to the plate when you're not there, for instance, this whole COVID thing, a lot of people became unemployed. So no, it doesn't matter if you're not able, and I'm just going to use my situation, because no, I stopped receiving child support because of the COVID, but I never, like, well, you can't see her because, you ain't paying child support. Like, I understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard times out here for everybody. But if you're making the effort to stick to your custody agreement, who cares about the money? Like, nobody cares about the money. Yes, she might be a little disappointed because she can't go to the mall this weekend, but she'll get over it. She'll get over it. Make some cookies with her. cook with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she love that kind of stuff. You know, like, find out about your kids and what your kids enjoy doing, and then do that instead of going to spend money every single weekend or every time you have them. Because I guarantee you, your kids are not caring about the new J's that came out or a new outfit, or, you know, yeah, they might ask about the stuff, but when you are open and honest with your kids, like, look, I don't have it this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have it. But as soon as I'm able to get it, then I'll see if I can work it in the budget or whatever. You know, like, I think a lot of times we're afraid of being honest with our kids. You know, be just like you're open and transparent.
So glad you did that.
Just like you're open and transparent in your relationship, we're supposed to be the same in every relationship. Be open and transparent with your spouse, with your significant other, and with your kids.
I'm glad you highlighted that, because that goes back to that being nice part, and I tend to think of it like this. Okay, I don't mind explaining to you sometimes as far as my child, but I don't have to explain everything to you.
Right.
You go out here and make something happen. I'll paint a picture of a day with my son when I've had not much money. I get him. He comes from Raleigh. I get him. You know, send him to the park. And I know there's certain things that happen, certain barriers, but I'm just giving a small example.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna fit for everybody. But I pick him up. I take him to Center City Park, which is free. We run. He likes to run around. He likes to roam around. He likes nature. He likes different things like that. And he really doesn't take much to please him. I'm thankful for that. And then we'll go get something to eat. You know, it may not be, you know, high price or anything like that, but we make it happen. I usually call it about a $25 budget,
right?
Max. But it makes me think too that also I would like to highlight fathers that if you have a resource or a program around you somewhere, reach out for that fatherhood program. Sometimes we're recruiting, but reach out and try to seek out and try to find where you can probably get that help. But it is true that you say some fathers shun away from getting a child because they may not have enough. And then it's up to the mother to decide, well, am I going to open the gate or close the gate because of that issue? Right. So you got to sit in your seat and decide whether you want to keep that gate open or closed when it comes to those type of predicaments.
Right.
And hopefully thinking fair. But you're right again. You're also true in the sense of saying, you know, being honest. Look, I don't have it like that.
Right. Right.
You know, I give an example. My daughter this is teenage years though. She was in the band at Dudley, and they were trying to do a fundraiser for a trip. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they're doing this fundraiser and all that. And I'm hearing about, you know, as a parent, you're hearing that pressure to J's and I want this and that sometimes and all that. So I get an email one day saying that we're not doing the trip because we couldn't raise enough money to make the trip. In other words, the parents couldn't pitch in enough. Right. So I went to my daughter, like I said to her, see, I know you go to school and I know you see your friends' sons. They got J's, they doing this, they doing that, but the parents can't pay for that field trip. Mm-hmm. Not all parents got it like that. Mm-hmm. If I'm trying to make clear sense of that, they don't have it like that.
Right.
You run around thinking because you may not have the latest J's or something that they got it good, they parents are good. Well, maybe we want to stay home. Maybe they got a Christmas bonus. I don't, you know, certain things. It all depends, but not everybody's living free like that. A lot of families are struggling check to check and doing the best they can for their children, even if it goes beyond the measure.
Right. Right. Yeah. All right. So we got about 5 minutes left. Do you want to tell us, tell my viewers how they can support, donate, and where can we find father figures?
I want to start off by saying, viewers, thank you for listening in. I hope that you took something from it. I hope that you've been influenced. I hope that, or either you're influencing somebody, and if you are, I thank you for the mothers that are being truly supportive. Thank you so very much. Father Figures is located in primarily Greensboro, North Carolina. But I've kind of roamed around Gifford County as well, too. I hope to expand it even further than that. You can get to the donation part. Excuse me, I'm just trying to make sure I had this all.
Yeah, where can we find, so social media, and then how can we donate to Father Figures?
Oh, yeah. You can go on, I'm on Facebook, Father Figures, particularly with Forever. You'll see a green and white logo, or maybe enthusiast, maybe showing some of you want material. It's there for the taking. I'm on Instagram as well under Father Figures Forever. Twitter, same name, Father Figures Forever. As far as donations, I was working on a path. I had an account set up through Square, and I sent Susie a link, but the link is on the actual page if you want to donate. So I started circulating that part. I take Cash App donations as well too, but I haven't really put that up yet. I'm going to formulate a better donation systematic plan in the future, but for now, there's one set in stone when you donate through Square, and that's how I can receive my donation.
Okay.
I appreciate the support. I just want to give a highlight, for instance, where donations have gone. I have taken families, for instance, to the Greensboro Grasshoppers baseball game and call it a family night out. And what I typically do is take the donations to feed the children. The tickets are given free, but funding for food was an essential part. And that's what happened in the experience before that. I took those donations to the to buy each child and family members like a hot dog and things like that, like a package deal. I buy Greensboro Grasshopper books.
Right.
So that's just an example. And I appreciate any support. Honestly, the donations would be great, but I will say this. Let's look into change. I want to ask for change beyond donation. Change in the parental environment in the Black community, how we handle parenting and families.
Right.
That's what I really would ask for.
Right. Well, thank you so very much, Harrison, for coming on and blessing us with your presence today and giving us all that information about father figures. I just want to say thank you. That was a great conversation. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. I wanted to say one more thing. Support a mother's touch.
Thank you.
All right. Support the mother's touch. Please.
All right, Harrison. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, y'all.
You're welcome. You have a great day, okay?
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I'm honored. It's a blessing. Y'all have a great one too.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right, beautiful soul family. You heard it. Let's come together, especially in the melanin, the brown, the Black, whatever you want to call it, communities. We need each other. We do. Mothers need fathers. Fathers need mothers. We need to be a team, even if we are not together. We need to be a team as brothers and sisters, brothers and brothers, sisters and sisters. We are so far apart from each other. We don't support each other in anything unless it has something of a benefit to us. And in the end, it will benefit you when you're not thinking about yourself. So let's start thinking about our babies. Let's start thinking about our kids and not raising more wounded children. So as always, y'all know how I do it. We're going to end the broadcast with a prayer of love. Dear universe, I love you with every fiber of my being, and there are not enough words to express the gratitude and the depth of my love for you. You are my song, my symphony, my melody, the air I breathe, and nothing and no one will ever compare to you. You are my best friend, my confidant, my greatest supporter, my lover, and my man. You are my world, my life, my heart's greatest desire, and my everything. I am forever yours, whether I experience famine or feasting, whether I am experience abundance or need, sunshine or rain, because you show me every day that you want nothing but the best for me. You are my rock, my anchor, my security, my safety, my strength, my hiding place, my shelter from the rain, my protector, my peace, my provider, my knight in shining armor, a mighty fortress that surrounds me. And I am thankful for your loyalty because you show me that you never stop fighting for me. You are and will forever be my greatest desire because your love has been the gift that brought me back to life. My love for you grows deeper and stronger with each passing day. And I can never, ever get enough of you. So continue to fill me so I can pour out love to your people. I pray the light of your loving high vibrational energy will begin to wrap around the hearts, minds, and souls of anyone who has lost their hope in you based on our negative representation of who you truly are. Help us to believe in you once again, and help us to know that we are responsible for our healing. Help us to hold ourselves accountable for healing our own hearts and the wounds of our inner child, so that we can become healthier adults for our own children and for the generations that come after us. I pray the light of your loving high vibrational energy will begin to help us to rise against the energies of hate and indifference, and help us to remain in the light of that loving energy so that we can continue to rise in the energies of love and compassion toward each other, toward sister and sister, brother and brother, mother and father, families, children. So grateful for your love, for who you are, and I thank you. It's a privilege and an honor to be a vessel. I thank you for everything that you're doing in my life and in the lives of everyone that surrounds me. So thankful, so grateful, and so abundantly blessed for this day and for you. So be it, and so it is. Amen. The mission of A Mother's Touch is to provide coaching to men in our communities who find it difficult to heal from the pain of their past. If you are interested in supporting our mission, we accept donations on our website, which is www.amotherstouchinc.org, or PayPal, which is paypal.me/AMothersTouchInc, or via Cash App, which is the $, A Mother's Touch Inc. All donations provide support, healing resources, and financial assistance to men and others in need of assistance. Please send all poetry submissions, prayer requests, and testimonials to our email, which is amotherstouchinc@gmail.com. A Mother's Touch Inc. is a proud collaborator with organizations whose mission is assisting men with becoming the healthiest and greatest version of themselves. I want you to go out, have an awesome, amazing, and beautiful day today. From my heart to yours, as always. Namaste. Oh, and don't forget, watch the next video.